Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about how trying to make Osha and May the brand new Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader is one of the most laziest things I've ever seen in a long time. Now, before I say anything else, let me reiterate a few things. One, I am not a massive Star Wars fan. I am a massive Star Trek fan. I am as casual as they come when it comes to Star Wars, but I have seen all the movies except for one, and all of all the live action television series except for one, and none of the animated stuff. And I've never played none of the video games. Also, I am not one of these whiny little toxic fanboys online who cries about everything and needs their diaper changed and stuff. So if you think I'm coming from that direction, you are solely mistaken. However, as a casual fan and as a person who loves television and good characters and good writing, I feel it is lazy for the creator of this show to basically imprint that of Anakin and Darth Vader onto two new characters that she created that is literally a prequel to the original series and stuff. It's lazy, it's unoriginal, and it's not very intelligent, especially when you know people of like the hardcore fan base and all those toxic people gonna come at you. And it makes you wonder why she did this. Like, is it because she's trying to build on the lore? Is it because she couldn't come up with no character of her own? Or is it just something to where it's kind of like, okay, people are going to hate this show, but if they see these similarities, they might like it a bit more. Almost like a ploy technique that Star Trek Discovery did when they made Michael Burnham the adoptive sister of Spock, a very beloved character. That did not go over very well. Something else that did not go over very well was season 1 of Star Trek Discovery. The USS Enterprise shows up. And that, of course, is from the original series. So it made people tune in for a second season and also helped get them a second season. They did the same thing here with Yoda at the end of the series, and also that one Sith Lord Master name who I can't even think of right now, Plagueis or something like that. And it's like literally a ploy. And in my opinion, you only do that when you're desperate and you're trying to get another season, and when you don't have faith in something you created and you need something to rope people in, almost like clickbait and stuff. And as a casual fan, like before I became like a fan of Star Wars, I knew who Darth Vader was. Like, who the dude is, you know what I'm saying? The cool outfit, the cape, the choke, the force choke and everything. And now a lot of this has been given to this brand new characters. Now, I said in my review, the creator of this show, I've seen 2 other of her shows and they're really good. But the problem with her shows at times tend to be pacing. And there's a problem with this show when it comes to pacing. So that's something she has not gotten over yet. Also, there's another problem when it comes to that of like, the way she kind of like presents her characters or character development or growth. She has a problem with that in her past shows, and she has it here as well. And so it does make me wonder if it was a ploy to purposely do that, to imprint Anakin onto May and Osha. Because the parallels are way too many. And I remember I saw a couple of them, and I mentioned a few of them in my review, but I didn't mention like all of them. But it is very annoying because the character May and Osha, they are not twins. They are literally the same exact person. And somehow that was created by the Force and probably technology, because we still don't know yet, or magic, because we still don't know yet, because they didn't explain it that well. But we know the Force created them somehow doing something known as a convergence, I believe it's called. I'm not too savvy with that. But apparently Anakin Skywalker was the only person that the Force created, like a good dark side and everything. And I said in my first two episode review that I'm okay with that because, 100 years ago, who is to say that like there wasn't another person born that way? But the problem is, it didn't just stop there. There are other like parallels that are just annoying. Pretty much everything that made Anakin Anakin and made Darth Vader is now being put into this character, and this character came out 100, or it's supposed to come out like 100 years before Anakin, and so it now makes you look at like Anakin and Skywalker, and it's kind of like, well, they're no longer original because a lot of stuff that made them literally came from this other person. So now it seems like he's copying her, even though he has no idea who she is because he wasn't born yet. And now that makes you think, okay, well, if the Force creates life, does that mean they're all gonna act now like May and Osha, making once again Anakin inferior and stuff? And that is a problem right there because you're gonna piss off a fan base, whether it's the loyal fan base or the toxic fan base. So why in the world would you do something like that? And when it comes to the parallels, one parallel would have been fine, but multiple ones, and you have to really look. And there are some that are just like small nitpicking ones, but then there are some that are too major and stuff. And it robs that not only of Anakin and Darth Vader of who they are, but now it robs Osha and May of who they are and who they could have been, because they're not really characters no more. Now they just feel like props and everything. And some of those similarities, I'll start with the most, like, the simplest, kind of like nitpicky, stupidest one. So both characters start off with your basic Star Wars type colors, light colors, white, pale grays, brown, stuff like that. And eventually when they turn over to the dark side, they start wearing darker colors, dark grays and blacks and stuff like that. Now, the only reason why May and Osha are swap clothes is because May tried to pretend to be Osha. So Osha, who's the good one, and May, who's the bad one, Osha had to wear like the darker colored clothes and stuff. And it could have seemed like coincidence, but now you know exactly why when you start looking at the other parallels of Anakin and Darth Vader. Now, since both girls are literally the same person, it doesn't really matter which tried to copy, Anakin or Darth Vader. But, you have both girls meeting, you have Osha meeting her future Jedi master in Seoul. And when it came to young Anakin, he met Obi-Wan Kenobi, who later on became his master and stuff. And I forget what it was it did Obi-Wan let young Anakin hold a lightsaber? I'm not sure, but if so, Osha got to do that. Now, Osha has always been presented as like a mechanical genius, right? But then we find out in the last episode, May is also a genius, and May can reprogram a droid. And we didn't know this until it just like randomly happened. But you remember in The Phantom Menace, young Anakin is also technological savvy, and he helped fix CP3O and stuff. And it's just weird how like both are very, very, very smart when it comes to technology and stuff. It's almost like they're gifted by the Force. See, now no longer does Anakin feel special being gifted and tech savvy, because now we know May is like that, and they're both similar. All three have literally avenged the death of their mother. May tried to kill Soul originally, but couldn't. And then eventually Osha ended up killing that of Soul. And Anakin killed those aliens that killed his mother and stuff. And the thing about both Anakin and Osha is Osha was the good one and one who trained to be a Jedi. So this is, what helped start them on their path of being evil, avenging their mother and letting go of their, and letting their emotions corrupt them and stuff. Both Anakin and Osha literally have attacked their master, their Jedi master. And Anakin tried to kill his multiple times, where Osha literally succeeded and killed hers. Both Osha and Anakin started off as good, and both were literally seduced and corrupted into the dark side by a Sith master. Palpatine corrupted Anakin, while Khmer corrupted that of Osha. Both Anakin and Osha have literally held in their hands and wielded a blue lightsaber until later on transitioning over into that of a red one. Anakin had his, and I believe he lost his, and then in the second movie, I believe he had two at one point, a blue and a green one, and then later on, of course, when he turned into Darth Vader, he was given a red one. But Osha, like when she held Soul's lightsaber, which was blue, it turned red because she became part of the dark side and stuff. The Force choke. This is Darth Vader and Anakin first did it, but we first saw Darth Vader did in the original trilogy. But this is like his signature move that he does, and it is so cool. And it really was started people liking him. Is when he could be anywhere. He could look at you through like a monitor screen, and you can be a million miles away, and he can literally choke the life out of you with the Force grip. It's like just one of the coolest things ever, and he's been the only person to do that in all of Star Wars lore. Now all of a sudden we know the very first person who has now done that, and that is now Osha, and she did it out of anger and just wanted to choke the life out of like Soul when she had abandoned the Force and she no longer had the powers, but all of a sudden her anger brought it on. This now takes away from Anakin and Darth Vader in the biggest way. That is literally their signature move. Having the bad person turn good all of a sudden. Like, okay, so Darth Vader turned on Palpatine, and it was a shocking moment because Anakin was good, turned evil, turned into Darth Vader, was really evil, and then the last couple of moments he decided to turn good, and he defeated the bad guy, fulfilling his destiny all along. And now you have May doing a similar thing. May was always a bad girl. She stayed bad. At one point in time, she was starting to turn good in episode 4, but remained bad. And then she prevented Soul from killing her Sith master and talked about how she wants Soul to, go to trial and go to jail for killing the mother and all this other stuff. And she no longer wants him dead, literally turning good. And she also wanted to turn good when she found out her sister is alive. Then she had her mind wiped, and now she's essentially a good person again. I just think is really lazy writing to implement this one character that is beloved onto a brand new character that people don't really have a chance to get to know. Because here's the thing, like in Star Trek, you have multiple captains in multiple television shows, right? But each captain has their own unique personality and their own unique quirk that makes them very special. The only thing they have in common is that they put their duty in front of everything else. They're there to protect the universe. That's just the captain's thing to do. But they have their own individual personalities, and none of them copy the other person's personality. Here is just lazy writing and a cop-out to imprint somebody else's personality and other character traits onto a brand new character. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.